We at Time Shifters hope that you enjoyed this rare and infamous moment that combines a first-rate disaster with genuine historical significance. But now it's time to take a deep breath as we prepare to temporarily reset you. Get your cars to Mars.
Hey there, everybody. This is Christopher, and I'd like to welcome you to the Time Shifters podcast. On this show, Tom and I dive into movies and TV, mostly in the sci-fi, fantasy, and horror genres, and we share our thoughts, give our reviews, and maybe go on a few tangents along the way. So let's get things started here. Let's get Tom in on the fun. Tom, how the heck have you been?
Tangential.
Okay, well...
Thought I'd latch onto that word while we had the chance. Otherwise, it has been crazy busy. So.
Yeah, I've been feeling a little bit that. It's weird. It's been really slow at work, but I still feel like I've been really busy, like, everywhere else. There's something going on at home. There's something going on the weekends. There's something going on, if not at work. I'm just trying to do other things, while I'm, that are peripheral. So yeah, it's been a little weird the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, especially I've had more travel in a compressed period of time than I've had in a long time. So every time I get back, I feel like I'm heading right back out the door, and then you throw on just the busy schedule of summer with my son out from high school, and the things that he has to do, and the things that I have to do. Yeah, it just gets kind of hectic, but hanging in there.
Yeah, I've been feeling too a little bit of stress and just trying to get things done around the house, like outside the house, because I feel like I'm constantly dodging the weather. It's either going to be 100 degrees and okay, I don't want to do this yard work or whatever out there when it's 100 degrees, or it's going to rain. Right. And somewhere in between you get like about an hour where you can actually try to get out and get the things done that you need to do.
I even got forced into a chore I didn't expect to do, because I have this string of bushes that line my driveway, and birds love to live in there, and they love to use my car as a toilet.
Yeah. And
when they finally broke down and had diarrhea all over the door handles, it was time to scrub the car.
Yep.
So, yeah, the chores you don't even want that come up.
Understood. Still, within all this going on, I have still found time to watch some stuff on the screen.
Oh, yeah?
Didn't buy it at Monster Bash, but was inspired to purchase it because of Monster Bash. I picked up the Blu-rays for a series of films called from Universal Pictures called the Inner Sanctum Mysteries.
Interesting.
Series of 6 films, all starring Lon Chaney Jr. Okay. And they are really entertaining. I've been kind of digging into them. I got through the first 3. And the first 2, for sure, are really great little mysteries.
Nice.
And some really great, well-written and well-acted. There was some big names of the time. It's some of the best work that I've seen of Lon Chaney Jr.
Wow.
And these all came out in, I think, 43, 44, 45, thereabouts. So after, I believe, The Wolfman.
Okay.
But... yeah, they're just good if you like just a good, solid mystery, thinking like, the Agatha Christie kind of stuff, or cool. Sherlock Holmes, whatever. A lot of just really entertaining, and these are really well done. I love a black and white film when it's been remastered, and it just looks good and crisp, and it looks so nice. And all these were done that way. These are all, the set I got was from Mill Creek Entertainment, which... I'm used to Mill Creek being the cheap 1,000 sci-fi movies all in one set, kind of company.
Yeah.
But to see this set actually done so well and all these things remastered and looking just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if they looked this good when they were brand new in 1945.
Oh, guaranteed not. That I'm always marveling at some of the remastering that they do on some of that black and white work, because you're kind of like, we had HD technology back then. I'm like,
Right.
damn, this looks better than stuff produced now.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the first 2 or 3 we really enjoyed. The fourth one was okay. It felt very middle of the road. It kind of Lon Chaney Jr.'s character in that one was it was called the Frozen Ghost, and Lon Chaney Jr.'s character in that one kind of gets the ball rolling, but then after that he just sort of sits around and wallows in self-pity, and it's just another sort of mad scientist in a wax museum kind of story.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, been there, done that. Pretty sure I have a t-shirt sort of thing.
Shampoo, rinse, repeat. Got it.
Yeah. But so we got 2 more in the set to go through, but there's still, I'm just enjoying it. I enjoy seeing Lon Chaney Jr. and something a little different than I'd seen him in before. And I just really impressed. It certainly, the price for these Blu-rays, which was less than $20, was worth it for the first 2 films, which we were really impressed with and really enjoyed.
Very cool.
Also, my wife and I just finished our rewatch of the first 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds.
Oh, there you go.
So we are all set for season 3. At the time of this recording is this week.
This week. When we're recording right now, it starts tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. So we'll talk about that in another couple weeks, I guess.
Let us get a couple of episodes under our belt.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very excited. I was very happy to watch these 2 seasons and had it in my mind that they were really enjoyable, and I was really happy to see that they held up to that thought. I enjoyed them, if not a little more in some cases.
Yeah, because I had I think we discussed this a couple weeks ago, that my son and I finished our rewatch of Strange New Worlds, and he hadn't seen the second season at all yet. So catching up on that, and then watching him catch like the musical episode and all of that was just so much fun.
I believe I said in the last episode, my wife had not seen first season.
Okay.
She saw most of second season, but didn't see first season. So now she was like able to so many things make so much more sense now.
Yeah, while they do a great job of still being kind of episode of the week kind of run, they still tie enough together that you need some of the backstory, especially the stuff going on with Spock and his fiancée.
I'd really like to now pick out, I think I picked out about a dozen of the original series that I feel like I need to show my wife. She's seen some of them here and there, and she's seen bits, and maybe she's seen a full episode here and there, but there's like about a dozen episodes where I feel like you should watch these, because so many of those like tie into what we just saw.
You mean like the Gorn episode?
That's actually one of them. I think you should see where the Gorn started.
Yeah. The funny thing is that at least the original series Gorn, if you said that creature achieved warp technology, I might go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I believe it. Right.
The actual current, more malevolent version of the Gorn, I'm like, how'd you guys even get off the planet? You eat each other.
Right.
So I'm struggling with them as an adversary. Yes, they're menacing. Yes, they're horrifying. But I'm not sure how they got to space.
Right.
Aren't you still sunning on a rock somewhere? I mean, they're pretty unevolved, or at least they come off that way.
But I definitely liked her to see the Balance of Terror, which is Yeah, there was that really great episode. I guess it was the season 1 finale, wasn't it? Where they effectively retold that story with Pike in command of the Enterprise instead of Kirk, and did so very well, lifting entire line, sequence of dialogue and everything. So definitely that should be one. A mock time, so you get a little bit of Vulcan Spock.
Besides,
stuff.
You get that one dream sequence he had where it was his Vulcan self fighting his human self in a dream in the Amok time style.
Yes. Yeah.
Including the music. I love that they
I love
music.
that. I know there's times where Rebecca looks over at me and I am grinning ear to ear and she has no idea why.
Context is everything.
There's times where I'll sit there and I'll just quietly go, nice. And she has to pause. I'm like, what? You had to be there.
Quick, let's rewatch 60 years of of Star Trek. Get you fully caught up.
But we'll definitely. I'd also like to show her the Menagerie, the 2-parter where we were introduced to Pike, and see the first pilot of the show.
So she knows that his fate is not to be trifled with.
Right. Yeah. I explained it to her, and she's seen. I mean, we did not go back and watch Discovery where he sees his whatever. There's enough. There's enough filled in with Strange New Worlds, and then I explained exactly what happened. And yes, we can revisit that at another time. But yeah, no, there was just about I think I came in about 11, maybe a 12, just for a couple because they're really classic and good episodes that I feel like are must-haves to kind of just fill in the gaps, and the rest are a little bit. The rest of this series is a little bit just fluff. Great if you got time, but if you're just really trying to get a flavor for the history of the show and see how a lot of that connects to Strange New Worlds, there's about a dozen episodes I picked out of the original series that I think work. They kind of need to be watched.
Oh, and since we do have season 3 coming up, I had read something recently that they're gonna do a little bit of a time jump here. They're trying to make sure that they align with all of the calendar according to Star Trek history, because I forget which year they said they were in, but we're apparently going to get about a year jump at some point during the season. To put them a little closer, especially since I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that they're only going to get really 1.5 more seasons.
Right.
I'm still struggling with that as a concept, and it has more to do with Paramount than it does the quality of the show.
Well, I could see them actually doing a pretty good jump just even after the conclusion of whatever happens with the end of second season going into the first season, because they're getting their butts handed to them by the Gorn, and I could see them having to spend some time in space dock. So we could easily...
we might get a time lapse for that while the Enterprise is repaired, but... and then whatever the aftermath is, that we're not going to go across that entire quadrant or whatever. I'm not using the right term, but that'll do. But the thing, and I don't know if I had mentioned this before in just either conversation or on the show, but the thing I really liked, if you pay close enough attention, is the season finale from 1 and the season finale from 2 parallel each other as far as where Pike's at in his head. Because in the first season finale, you get that whole... He gets to see what happens when he's too cautious. When he doesn't take a bolder step when a bold step is necessary. And then we literally cut off the end of the second season where he's in the middle of that choice again. Does he follow the orders and do the safe thing and leave? Or does he continue to engage to try to save those that have been left behind? So it's action or no action. And it'll be interesting to see what we actually get out of this going into that. And seeing as how we need to build to Pike coming to terms with his fate, you kind of get or at least that's where my head is psychologically. The character is going to have to start being a man of action almost in earnest. Because if he keeps playing it safe or diplomatic, he can't ever get rid of the diplomacy part of what he does. And he's fantastic at it. But if occasionally he doesn't make that bold jump, will he make the bold jump when he needs to? And we know he will. He has to. They're not going to dismantle that. Otherwise, we get another timeline. And let's not do that.
Well, yeah, we're already knee-deep in our third or fourth, Trek universe.
Yeah, we've already deviated a couple times. It's hard to know what's where and when in some cases. But since this is supposed to be nestled right where it is, let's not ruin that.
It's something that helps me sort of enjoy it a little bit more is in my own head. It's like, this isn't the universe that I know. This is not really TOS universe. This is a different timeline. That's why, because Rebecca, my wife and I were talking about it too, that's why these people don't look and are never going to be the people that we watched in TOS. The actress that's playing Uhura is never going to be Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
Paul Wesley is never going to be the William Shatner Kirk.
No.
Because, and in my head, this is another timeline. It's another universe.
Is that how you're doing it?
And yeah, and that's fine.
If that's what gets you to enjoy it, I'm okay with that.
Oh, there is something I picked up this watch that I did not pick up before. The end of season 1, when we have the time jump. Yeah. We've got future Pike coming back to present Pike, and then he gets to see his future, somewhere in between, which takes place whenever the Balance of Terror would have taken place in TOS.
Yeah, it's still going to be like 6 years out from that point.
Right. Communications has been properly moved to behind the captain's chair.
Yeah.
So okay, fine. I will accept Uhura being on the wrong side of the bridge because I know at some point they move it.
and who knows, because of the damage that's being inflicted at the end of this episode, if they have to go into some sort of repair and refit, maybe that's when that's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe. There you go. I picked up on it. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, and I watched it this time, and I know that's always bugged me, the fact that Uhura was off to the right. Yeah. Like, she should be behind. Well, they do move it eventually. All right, I'm good.
See, I still sit comfortably in the camp that we watched a show that was made in the 60s on a low budget with what it could, and we're seeing what would be the version that could have been made if they had the ability to make it. So I still see this as the prime timeline. I still see them as becoming the people they will become. So that's where I sit. So we're a little opposed, but whatever gets us through the day is all good.
Yep, absolutely. So I haven't asked you, have you had a chance to watch anything or do anything particularly fun or geeky? Or
everything's a little slow because by the time I get through a day anymore, I usually turned on something a little more mindless that I don't pay attention to because I might just fall asleep. But I have been trying to get into the third season of Squid Games.
Okay.
I actually rather enjoy that series, and the second season was a radical jump from what the first one was, since we have the main character from the first season actually he's trying to dismantle the system that has set up this Squid Game that pits people to kill each other for sport. And in doing so, we never make it, like, the third season is a direct continuation of the activities of the second season. They leave it kind of, he tried to do a revolt against the powers that be that are running the game, and that gets quashed, and he gets returned to the game, and the remaining folks have to now continue to play out what is happening. And like literally I'm only into the second episode, and the entire episode was about the one game they were playing, but it was a drama filled, intense episode. They're very good at what they do, so I'm looking forward to wrapping that up, but I need more time. I need time that feels like it's mine, not belonging to somebody else, and I'm just waiting in between.
Yeah, you kind of wish we had 32-hour days so we could have an extra 8 just for us.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Because there's just too much. Nobody likes the term anymore, adulting, but there's just a little too much of that right now.
Nope, absolutely understood. All right, if that's it, then I guess we will go ahead and take a break here. We will listen to a promo for another podcast, and then we are going to talk about 2009's Princess of Mars.
Welcome to Good Beer, Bad Movie Night, where each month we drink finely crafted brews while watching terrible films in order to see just how drunk you have to get to enjoy them. So tune in and join Troy.
Kill more Krites.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
Dave.
I have the weirdest boner.
And Pete. IPAs are ales, meaning they are bottom fermented. Excuse me, they are top fermented. I f***ed that up. Try that again. As we drag Kathleen.
Hear me.
Kicking and screaming through an alcohol-fueled podcast dedicated to movies of questionable quality and the frosty adult beverages that help make them tolerable. Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. Clearly, it's the beer's fault.
This direct-to-DVD film from Asylum Studios was written and directed by Mark Atkins and is loosely based on the novel of the same name by Edgar Rice Burrough. The film stars Antonio Sabata Jr. and Tracy Lords. This film was produced to capitalize on the 2009 film Avatar, which many people felt was heavily inspired by the Burrough stories. The promotional material even boasted that it was the quote-unquote classic story that inspired James Cameron's Avatar.
Interesting.
In the film, a U.S. military sniper serving in Afghanistan is wounded and chosen for a secret experiment where his DNA is encoded and transported to a planet in the Alpha Centauri system where it is recreated into an exact duplicate body. Once there, John Carter discovers, due to the planet's lower gravity, he can make huge flying leaps and has increased strength. He is initially enslaved by a race of Tharks, but is soon accepted into their society and their war with the human-like race on Barsoom. Carter becomes entangled in a conflict that could determine the fate of this alien world when the human princess Deja Thoris is captured by the Tharks and an enemy from Earth is discovered in Barsoom whose own agenda could destroy everything on the planet. Yeah, we were talking just briefly before we started recording, and you made the sort of, you were surprised that this film came before John Carter.
Right.
The big budget Disney film.
I was, and with the Asylum title, the production company, they're notorious for making rip-off versions after the fact. So the fact that they actually beat the quote-unquote blockbuster, granted failed blockbuster, but the better, more well-produced movie, and I will say, I liked John Carter. I actually rather enjoyed that film. So
as did I.
Yeah. So, and since I never read the source material, in my heart, that's the story of John Carter. And then watching this, I like, wow, you've almost stolen everything except for the fact that it's not good. I liked the actors that were involved in John Carter. I liked the flow. I liked the story. I loved all of the, even their CGI stuff was amazing. And I realized this was going to be lower budget, but I'm like, the Afghanistan thing weirded me out. I didn't mind the Tharks so much, but they were more or less the highlight. Granted, I liked the Tharks from the John Carter movie way better, but these were not an unreasonable take on the premise, and they were played by the better actors, because Sabato Jr. spent most of his time looking like he was reading off the back of the person who was in front of him. So,
yes.
Everything was wooden. Everything was just...
The only one that brought in a worse performance than Sabato Jr. was Tracy Lords.
See, I was actually prepared to give her a little bit more than him, but they were tight. They were tight on that.
She and he were just awful. This film could have come in under an hour if they cut out all the moments that the two of them just said their lines and then stared at something off screen.
Yeah, and even while I've got the IMDb page up, and I remember during the one sequence where she's supposed to be doing something to the machine to restart the engine that allows for them to breathe, and she's just waving her hands over lights. And I get again, low budget and all that, but I'm like, either the direction didn't give you anything more to do than say, hey, just wave your hands around, or you're not invested in this at all. So some combination of the two, I'm sure, is true. But either way, I'm like, what am I watching at this point? I'm like, you could dial this back to original Doctor Who and it's better. That's better than this.
Yeah, there are some interesting choices both in directing, cinematography, acting. Cinematography, let's talk about the fact that they travel days, supposedly, on this planet and never leave Vasquez Rocks.
Yeah. Everything looks exactly the same all the time. Doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah, it just so happens that there's a lot of geological formations that look exactly the same. It's an alien world. We don't know. Could be.
That's true. It's a cookie cutter all the way around.
Yeah.
All I knew is this was an incredibly long 1 hour and 33 minutes.
Yes, yeah, it was. This was, I definitely struggled to keep my eyes open at times, and I'm not entirely convinced that they did.
I'm not sure that you missed anything should you have closed them. But no, yeah, there was just long periods of lots of nothing. The dialogue is all incredibly wooden, and that's the part that was ticking me off, is you could hear the same things that were said in the John Carter movie 3 years later. And I remember it being far more exciting in that one, and all of this just came off like, why do I care? I'm not invested in any of this. The one that weirded me out, and I don't remember there being a John Carter version of this. Maybe there was, and I'm not remembering it. But the whole when he gets fed by the Tharks for the first time, and she's basically squeezing some worm-like thing to produce this pudding that he's eating. and after he eats the pudding, then he can understand what they're saying. And apparently they knew that was going to happen. That just played very weird. It kind of reminded me of other... It actually reminded me of, and I love Farscape, but it reminded me of when he gets when that John Crichton, not Carter, but John Crichton gets injected by one of the DRDs, and then all of a sudden he can hear everybody as if he is speaking their language and vice versa. I'm like, I had that kind of moment. I'm like, you just did this because you can. It's a babble fish.
It wasn't the pudding was just more of a gag. You hear what sounds like her hocking up a loogie or something in the kitchen, and then comes out with this thing of pudding, and he finally eats it. Yeah, it's really good. He's like, no, I would like some more. And that's when she brings out the worm, which then, squirts all over the place. And he's like, I'm not eating an insect. And it was actually some bug they made him eat.
Oh, yeah, that other worm thing, that crawly.
Some small little bug. It looked like some sort of grub or something like that. And there was something similar in the John Carter where they fed him some milk or something like that. And that let him understand everybody's language.
If there was ever a MacGuffin, that's a MacGuffin.
Oh, no, absolutely.
It works because we say so.
I mean, you could say that this film isn't entirely not following the original story, but it's a fairly simple story, which is what we've seen a dozen times in a dozen different films and or television shows or novels or whatever that have all been based and influenced by Edgar Rice Burrough's stories. And you mentioned the Tharks. For the budget, for an Asylum film, the makeup and the creature effects for the Tharks were actually pretty good. Yeah. I was actually really impressed with them.
No, I wanted to, I was bothered that they weren't the Tharks that I know from the John Carter, but I'm like, I get it, I see it, and the way that they behaved, that was reasonable, that was the entertaining part of the film. There's just not enough of it to sustain the rest of the film.
Yeah, these guys definitely look like men in suits versus the four-armed, 10-foot tall Tharks that we get in John Carter. But as far as the masks and everything, it worked pretty well. I mean, there's times where you could kind of see where the face and the mask meet. But it sort of works because the way they're designed, they kind of look like they had bony plates.
Yeah.
And so, it actually worked. If you can incorporate the flaws and make them look like they were intentional, clever and good on you.
Right. But then you get into sequences like the fight sequence where we're going to make Tarkus the leader now. He's going... the setup for that was clumsy, but then they do this really dumb and terrible looking effect where John has beaten Tar, and now he's going to knock the I forget the main Thark that was in power. He throws a rock at the side wall, and the whole thing explodes, and then they have this very weird sequence where it looks like that should have killed anybody that was up there, but then they have his little ramshackle hut thing just kind of fall down, and the guy's climbing out of the wreckage. I'm like, wait, what? These things don't go together.
That's where some of the flaw in some of the direction was. There are times where things happen, people are supposedly interacting with something, but you're a little confused, like, wait, did they do that, or is that somebody else? Are we in another scene? Yeah, there's several moments like that.
Yeah, it takes you out of it as quickly as you got in. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to enjoy this part, and now you ruined it. So thank you for that. Oh, and then Antonio Sabato Jr.'s in it.
Right. What did you think about the decision to not have it be Mars? It is Mars, 318 or something like that. So
Yeah, no, actually, I laughed when when that even came up, because I'm like, oh, good, we've picked another movie that doesn't really have Mars. It's not even our Mars. At least Barsoom, from the original story, was supposed to be our Mars. But no, not in this version. Aside from the choice to do the Afghanistan thing, and I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going back to that, but just that opening sequence with the Afghan war and him. He's not believable in anything he's doing or saying, and it's coming off super offensive while they're doing it. And then that's our launching point. You're supposed to be taking this from the original story. You couldn't have done the Western component. That was going to be too hard. You shot everything in the same desert. Just keep going.
Easier to get the costumes.
I guess. They were being topical.
Yeah, but actually that probably had something to do with it.
I guarantee that had everything to do with it. Like, oh, I have an idea. Instead of doing this part, we can talk about Afghanistan, sort of.
It might have actually worked better had they had John Carter originally set in a older time, because then it would have helped make, I was going to say Martians, but the residents of Barsoom, make them look a little bit more futuristic when they start whipping out the automatic weapons.
Yeah.
Well, okay, now it just looks like a cheap movie.
Yeah. Yeah, but since you took the period part of it out, you can't even hide that stuff, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough for that. But like I said, I was offended by even how the treatment of the Afghanistan stuff, the one line that he even said, which was rough, is like, as he's talking to the one guy, he's like, "You're not gonna like it when we're not here." And okay.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
And it takes up way too much damn time.
It does. It really does.
I mean, it probably only takes up 10, 15 minutes, but it's like, that's too much.
It is. And then on top of it, their explanation for what they're doing to him and then what's going to happen. Like, huh?
Yeah, thank you. What was the motivation for our government to be sending anyone to this planet?
Exactly. I mean, first off, how did this come about? And yeah, the motivation. What do you get out of this? Like, let's say you even accidentally stumbled into whatever this technology is that allows you to disassemble a human being and reassemble them somewhere else. We don't entirely understand, but how did it come to be that place? And what do you get out of them going there? Because they don't seem to be able to bring anything back. So this is not a resource thing. It's not a learning thing. It's not a takeover thing. You're not doing this in mass. It's not like we're moving our population to there. Why?
Yeah, it is definitely just hand wave. We do this, just go with it. Granted, the original novel, if I'm not mistaken, John Carter falls asleep staring into the stars and wakes up on Barsoom.
Yeah.
No explanation.
Right.
They created an entire third race or whatever in the John Carter film to give some sort of magical or super technological explanation as to how one could be transported to another planet. So I don't know, is this one any more ridiculous than either of those two?
No, granted, but I mean, you went out of the way to start it in at least modern day. at the time, and you wanted some sort of science fiction-y kind of thing, but you didn't think it through the rest of the way. You just kind of went with the whole "because we say so" thing again. Mm-hmm. But again, that's the whole deal with the worm eating thing too, is because we say so.
Yeah, I thought I started watching this once before. Yeah. If I did, I must have fallen asleep as soon as the credits started rolling because I remembered absolutely nothing. So maybe I thought I started it, but I never did. I don't know. I didn't recognize any of this.
You were saving it up for this moment.
Absolutely. But the only thing I will give this, and while I did knock her for her acting ability, Tracy still looked fine in her leather.
Easy on the eyes helped.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am a sucker for a woman in skins.
Well, granted, that was one of my favorite parts of John Carter, because their princess was gorgeous. But again, even the Tracy Lord, she's supposed to be the woman of action for her people in all of this, and she still ends up swooning a little too much to John Carter. And even the little talk that's had with her at one point by Tartarchus about the whole you don't even see what you don't see kind of thing. He was basically alluding to the whole, you're totally into him whether you're going to admit that or not. And I'm like, I'm not seeing the motivation for that happening either. And then when she's kind of still the damsel toward the end, it doesn't fit with the story that started.
No, it is a shame that she is a thing.
Yes.
She has no apparent real agency of her own. She is there strictly to be traded, to be fallen in love with.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's her entire reason for existence. She is not a woman of action. She has no action scene. She fights at no point. She is immediately captured. She spends her time in a cage that she could easily get out of if she wanted to. Yeah. Because the bars are 2 feet apart.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can squeeze through that. And this is where I'll do my own self-critique. I wish I had more time to do things like delve into the original material. I would love to read that. That's the one thing where I'll give this some room. The misogyny component that's in this is probably in the source material, given the age that it was created. So even if she's intended to be a ruler and person of action, even in the story, I almost guarantee she's still the damsel as well.
No, most likely.
Yeah, but again, in 2009, you would have thought there'd be a little room. You're taking liberties anyway. You could do a little better on that front too.
Yeah, you could have given her a sword to fight the bad guy with, maybe.
Yeah, that's one of the components I did like in the 2012 version, the Disney version, where she's a badass the whole way through. She has her things that she has to do because, of course, in any kind of royal situation, you'd have these things because, well, throughout time we say so. But at least she wasn't going to put up with anybody's crap for the most part, including John's most of the time. So I liked that, and I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of that here, but no, we gave that up pretty quick.
Yeah, this one was unfortunately not even what I would consider an entertaining watch, just as one might watch a bad film, and it's not one of those so bad it's good sort of situations. It's not bad, but still entertaining. I found this to just be boring.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. Like with a lot of Asylum films, they can have a misty quality about them where it can be fun to make fun of them along the way. This didn't have enough energy to make fun of it. It's just bad and boring. Boring. There's way too much time. You're not wrong. I think you could get it well under an hour if you took out the parts where nothing was really happening.
Yeah, honestly, the highlight as far as acting goes was actually the actor behind Tars Tarkas, Matt Lasky. As far as what lines he was given were actually fairly decent lines, and he delivered them really well.
Yeah, no, that was why
he was in a different film.
That's why I was marveling at the realization this came out before, because I'm like, I'm catching some of those Tars Tarkas vibes from the John Carter film out of his performance, even though he's in obviously more rudimentary makeup and all that, but you're giving that kind of energy that I got out of the other one, but you're the highlight. That's it. Everything else. And so, so Matt Lasky, I'm sorry that you were in that. I hope better things have come along.
Yeah, but good on you for being the best thing about a not so great film.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, anything else to mention about this one?
No, I'm happy to let it go into the history books.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, next episode we're at least definitely going to be on Mars because it's in the title.
Yes. Although we might have been burned before.
We're going to look at 2001's Ghost of Mars, directed by John Carpenter. Really interested in seeing this one. I don't think either one of us can remember if we've watched this before.
Maybe one of those things. Maybe I caught a scene or two here or there on cable back in the day. But yeah, no, I don't think I've ever done a full sit down for this. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's been 24 years, so I guess it's possible that it was seen 22 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it'll be really cool to check that one out. If nothing else, John Carpenter at least gives us a little glimmer of hope.
Yes, it does. I'm looking forward to Ice-T.
Ice Cube, yeah. It's a really great cast, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Yeah, no, this should be fun. Even if it's cheesy, it should still be fun.
All right, so with that, I will just say thanks for listening to the Time Shifters podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode, whether it's just feedback, questions, or something you want to share. You can reach out via email or drop a comment on any of our social media posts. Just follow the link in the show notes or head to timeshifterspodcast.com. And I should point out that it doesn't have to be just on this episode. If you've listened to any of our past episodes and you want to jump in on something we've said a month ago, 2 months ago, go ahead and write that email. It's never too late.
We'd love some feedback on that last time hop that we did. And if you've got a moment, please consider leaving a rating or a review. It really helps more people discover the show, and who knows, they might become time shifters too.
If you're feeling extra generous, you can toss a little support our way at Ko-fi.com/TSPOE podcasts. Now, every bit of this goes towards web hosting and production costs. This show will always be free to everybody, but any help that you can give us is really appreciated.
And if you want some cool stuff and help support the show, check out our merch at TeePublic or Dashery. Links are in the show notes and on our site. You'll be helping us out and supporting some awesome independent artists at the same time.
That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We will catch you next time. Bye.
See ya.